Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and in this sales funnel strategy video, we're going to be walking through a simple 5-step process to get your conversion optimized sales funnel up and running as quickly as possible, and of course save you a bunch of time using the Snap Builder method for putting together your sales funnel. If you're interested in other tutorials on how to drive traffic or set up Google Analytics or Tag Manager, check out the links in the description below to other playlists and videos, as well as a comprehensive playlist on how to put together all of your pages for your sales funnel. Here we're gonna be talking about the important strategy side of sales funnels, and then you can check out those playlists for the click-by-click guides on how to set up each one of these pages and processes for your funnel. Now, the first key to success with using the Snap Builder method is to actually build your funnel backwards. You see, most of the time we start with a product or service in mind, and then we wind up building a funnel from back to front. And actually with the Snap Builder method, what we want to do is build the funnel from front to back. So if you're still working on a product or you don't have a product yet, you actually want to start this process before you invest all that time and energy into putting together a product. If you already have that sunk cost, you've already invested, well then that's okay. You're going to be able to use this process as well, but you do want to save yourself a lot of time and headache by building front to back. And this is because when it comes to putting together your funnel, your sales copy is what's going to make the biggest difference in the success or failure of your funnel. And when it comes to what to write on your landing page, your sales pages, what to put in your emails, even what type of lead magnet to put together, it all starts with your ideal customer. And we want our ideal customers or ideal prospects to help guide us through the process of how to communicate with them, and most importantly, what products to offer and what lead magnets to offer to get their attention and of course eventually get their business. And this is why the first step of this process is market testing. And to test the market, we need to have a thorough understanding of who we are targeting. And this is where creating a customer avatar comes in. Now, I have a link in the description to a full video on how to craft a customer avatar. We're gonna go through the short version of it so you can see how this foundation plays a significant role in creating the rest of your funnel. So here are the 3 main questions to ask, and then we'll dive into all 7 of these questions. So the first one we have here is, who is your ideal customer? What topics do they care about? And of course, what are they doing instead? Because your ideal customers and prospects are doing something right now instead of engaging with your content, instead of reading your emails, instead of buying your products and services. So who is your ideal customer? This is basic demographic kind of information that's going to help us with targeting for our advertising. Then what topics do they care about? This is really going to help us either craft a content marketing strategy or help us figure out what we should put in our ads and our landing pages to get people to take action. And then finally, what are they doing instead? This is where you're gonna be looking at the marketplace, you're gonna do some research and figure out what other offers are out there, what other products or services are being offered to help your ideal customers already right now. So here is the full list. There's a timestamp table of contents in the description so you can come back to it. I'm just pausing here for a little bit. And then here is what all of these questions answered would look like as an example. And again, this is super basic. You definitely want to develop this over time. But let's say for our example funnel here, we're targeting someone who considers himself an entrepreneur or content creator. They're in California, Washington, or Texas. And then they're a male between the ages of 35 and 50. And as you run your advertising, you're actually gonna be able to change these assumptions based upon real world data. And this is why I love Google Analytics tutorial in the description. So the next part here is looking at where are they currently getting their content on your particular topic. So for this example, they're subscribed to YouTube channels and they're looking at Facebook pages that have to do with content creation or being an entrepreneur. And finally, number 6 and 7. Number 6 is what we're gonna focus on for the remainder of this particular tutorial, and that is what results are they after? They're trying to grow their YouTube channel. And then finally, what solution are they looking at right now? They're probably taking courses from other YouTube experts to learn how to grow their channel. Now, the next step of our process is actually breaking number 6 down into 2 questions. We already know what is the ultimate result that your ideal customer or prospect is looking for. Then we're gonna break it down and ask, what is standing in their way? And you'll see how this is easily going to allow you to put together the rest of your funnel in a moment. For our particular example here, grow their channel and then not getting enough views is what's standing in their way of being successful. And of course, you can have a much longer list than this. This is just for example purposes. Now that we know relatively what we think the answer to these questions are, it's time to validate. How do we make sure that these assumptions are correct? And of course, this is why it's so important to go through this process before you invest all the time and energy into creating a product or service, because you want to make sure that you're talking about the right problems and you're able to relate to your ideal customers by talking about the perceived roadblocks that they have. And once you have this, you're ready for crafting your lead magnet. And when it comes to crafting your lead magnet, we want to craft an offer that gets email addresses of ideal customers. Keyword being ideal customers. Yes, there are a lot of different lead magnets you could probably put together, but what's important is we need to attract the type of people who are actually going to do business with you and whip out that credit card at the end of the day. So the best way to do this is to create an offer that delivers on the result that we just worked out and eliminates a perceived roadblock or pain that they think is getting in their way. So this is where we are so far, and we're actually going to use this diagram throughout the rest of this tutorial. So now that we've answered these two questions, it's time to turn it into a headline. So here are two quick headline formulas we can use: how to result without hard part, or how to result even if roadblock. And we actually want to put together these headlines before we put together the lead magnet. You'll notice that we're always making sure that we're focused on delivering a result or eliminating a pain for a potential customer or prospect, and then building out something. And we'll go through what we can create for lead magnets. But as you can see here, here are two examples: how to grow your channel without getting lots of views, or how to grow your channel even if your videos aren't getting views. Now, in both of these instances, we've zeroed in on the result that they want, and we've talked about the pain or roadblock that they're experiencing. So here you can see how we've actually reversed the roadblock and result in blue using the exact same formula. So the sky is the limit. I definitely recommend playing around with these and just coming up with 15 to 20 that you can test. And then you're gonna see 2 or 3 that you think are really good, and those are the ones that you're going to start off with your testing. So again, these are just examples. The sky is the limit in terms of what you can do with these formulas. And once you have 2 or 3 that you really like, you can actually begin to put together your lead magnet. And of course, it's important that your lead magnet actually does help someone get closer to the result that they're looking for. Otherwise, it's going to not really help you in terms of getting someone to whip out their credit card later on in your funnel. And this is where we decide what type of lead magnet we want to put together. So you have a lot of options here. So let's go through them. We could do a video tutorial that goes through how to get more views. We could do an audio recording, and it could be a story of how myself or a student or client of mine was able to grow their YouTube channel. We could do a diagram showing people how to structure their channel homepage, or how to structure their videos for growth, or we could just provide a quick PDF checklist, which is actually my personal favorite because we want to minimize the amount of time we're investing into this lead magnet because we're not sure if people want it. So I always like starting with a PDF checklist because it's the easiest to put together, and then we can move on to the next part. And of course, you're free to choose any type of lead magnet that you want. Those are just examples of how each one of those different types could be used for our example of trying to get people who are interested in growing their YouTube channel. So now that we have all of this, we're ready to actually put together our landing page. And the little phrase we came up with is going to be the headline of our landing page. And that's really all you need on your landing page. You just need your headline, a picture of your checklist, or if you do a video, just have a little screenshot of the video with a play button and a couple of bullet points. That's all you need on your landing page. We really don't want to get super fancy here because we want to figure out, is this the right way to connect with people? So if your landing page winds up not working very well, then you know either someone's not interested in the checklist you put together or video or diagram that you put together, or the way that you're communicating that checklist, video, or diagram doesn't work. So what we're going to be doing here is to continually test this part of the process. This is arguably the most important part of the process when you're just getting started, because if your landing page isn't converting, there's no point in writing a sales letter. There's no point in putting together an email sequence. There's no point in slaving away putting together a digital product or physical product or getting suppliers if this process is not working. So we really want to make sure that we are connecting with potential customers. And once we are, we can turn on the traffic. So at this point in this particular training, once you have a landing page and a lead magnet, it's time to turn on the traffic. You actually really don't want to do anything else. I know that sounds crazy. You'll be like, Jason, I don't have any emails. I don't have a product. I don't have a sales letter. that's okay. It doesn't matter if anyone's coming through. I can tell you from personal experience and from coaching students and clients that it's always better to have a bunch of traffic coming in, people joining your email list and go, I don't have anything to sell, than having something to sell and just crickets inside of your email list. It's a terrible, terrible feeling. So let's go ahead and make sure that we're getting people onto your email list, whether you're doing paid traffic or organic traffic through your content. Whatever type of traffic you're doing, this is the part of the process where we turn the traffic on. Then we continue building the rest of the sales funnel, because as we test things, we need people coming through our funnel to know if what we're putting together is actually working. And speaking of putting things together, the next step is your email sequence. So once we've identified who we're gonna be targeting, we've come up with a couple of lead magnet ideas, we've chosen one of them, we've put together a little landing page, and we're driving some traffic to it, or we're just sharing links to the landing page with the current presence or customers or following that we have. Now it's time to put together your emails. And the best way to do this is to just focus on getting 5 to 7 emails out. Email marketing is something that's going to take a really long time to get used to, and all you have to do with your emails is build rapport and trust. That is all there is to it when it comes to building your email sequence. So here is a basic email sequence that you can put together. Let's go through each one of these 6 emails and the asterisk at the end on email number 6. So the very first one we have here is, here's your blueprint, here's your video. You just link to the offer and 3 to 5 bullet points on why it's awesome. Really, you're just repeating what you said on the landing page. Then the second email, you can go in and talk about the biggest challenge you faced or they're going to face. Talk about how hard it was to achieve the result. And then if you have any myths or you know any buying objections, you can start handling those objections or debunking some myths to separate you from everyone else in your marketplace. It's a really great way to build trust and rapport when you say, I know everyone says to do this, but actually if you do that, here's why it's actually gonna sabotage your success, and here's a better way. Of course, it does actually have to be a better way. It doesn't work if you just make something up. Now, the next one we have is hero story. So a story of success. This works best if you have a testimonial. Of course, most of us don't have a testimonial when we're starting. So we can just talk about a personal story and how the paid offer is going to make a huge difference in speeding up or making it easier to achieve the result that you or the person in the story already achieved. And I realized that I forgot in number 2, you're actually gonna introduce the paid offer in a PS. So you'd go through, you talk about how hard it was, you debunk some common myths or handle some buying objections, and you'd say, PS, I have this super cool, awesome thing that's actually gonna help you achieve your result even faster, better, or easier. That's number 2 and 3. And then number 4, we're gonna talk about a big benefit of the offer that you're making. So here, you're not going to have to be super salesy, and we want to avoid talking about all the great features or benefits of whatever you are offering. We wanna focus on your subscriber and how what you're offering is going to make their life easier and better. Finally, with email number 5, we're going to do the exact same thing. In email number 4, we're just focusing on a different benefit. And this last one is a hard sell. And you've probably seen this type of email where someone gives you this ridiculous ultimatum and say, if you don't buy, you're dumb, or if you don't do this, you're crazy. I definitely don't recommend doing that. What I do recommend is, in your own way and personality, say, hey, I saw that you requested access to this PDF, this presentation video or diagram. I've been talking about how this other offer really helps you accelerate your success or makes it even easier. So just curious, what am I missing? Like, how could I be more helpful to you? And then here are some common things that I hear as to why people don't believe that this type of product, service, or method is going to help, XYZ achieve the result. Again, this email is completely optional. And with that, the hard part is over. The next part is this sales letter. And you might be wondering, what do you mean the hard part's over? We haven't even gotten to the sales letter yet. And the reason is the sales letter is probably the absolute last thing you should do. The process that we just went over here, where we are testing the market, we're trying different lead magnets, and we're putting together an email sequence, this is going to take up a lot of time, and it's going to take a lot of time and energy to get people to opt into your landing page, to get people to open your emails. And when it comes to sales copywriting, it's something that's going to take a lifetime. It really is a skill as an entrepreneur or marketer that you're going to be working on for the rest of your career. Now, I want you to skip all of the courses and get a formula straight from the source. So I'm actually not going to recommend any expensive course. You know, they're $300 and $300 and $3,000 courses. And for 13 bucks, you can go to Amazon.com and get the Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy. And this book for 13 bucks will give you everything you need to put together your first sales letter. And I actually recommend promoting an affiliate product or coaching, because writing a sales letter can take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. This is a monster task. And so this is why building it front to back with the Snap Funnel Builder method is so important. So I really implore you to go through everything we've talked about and then order this book or look for another book. Just don't get sucked into trying to create the perfect sales letter right out of the gate. And Dan Kennedy's formula is to get into the customer, get into the offer, have a damaging omission, and address flaws openly. What this means practically is your sales letter should start off connecting with the customer, talking about them and their situation. Then you talk about how the offer can help them in their situation. The damaging omission and address flaws openly is where you say, hey, look, let's just be honest for a second. Here's why it might not be a good fit for you. Here's why it might not work. And here are the flaws with my system. And it's one of those easy to use sales techniques that actually helps build rapport and trust, because you're being open with how the product might actually not be helpful. And finally, we have the last step, which was left blank on purpose, and that is fix it. Because if there's one thing I've learned building all of the sales funnels I've built, it is something is bound to break, something is bound to go wrong. So when you're looking at this process, what you want to make sure is you're constantly making time to ensure that everything is working. So go ahead and opt in on your opt-in page, receive your emails over and over again, proofread your emails over and over again. I know that's something that I am terrible at. I've sent a lot of emails with a lot of spelling mistakes, or even get an editor to help you with your emails or proofread your PDFs and your checklists. And that is all there is to it, to building your sales funnel. So this is the entire process that we've gone through. We figured out who we should be targeting. We created our lead magnet using 2 simple questions, put together a headline for our landing page. I highly recommend just doing a PDF checklist as your lead magnet. We slapped together an email sequence, and then of course your sales letter, which I highly recommend holding off on. Just get a couple books on sales copywriting. You don't need to buy an expensive course to do it. It does take a really long time to put together, which is why it's the very last thing you should do after everything else in your funnel is working. So you can see on the bottom here, our funnel is simple. We have a landing page, they get their PDF, they get those 5 to 7 emails. We drive that email traffic to a sales page that we've written, or we drive it to an affiliate offer or a coaching application. And then of course we have a checkout page, and they ultimately get their product or service. So thank you so much for watching. If you've made it through this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more digital marketing tactics and strategies just like the ones covered in this video. There's no one size fits all when it comes to putting together your sales funnel, so I sincerely hope that this Snap Funnel Method process helps you jumpstart your own sales funnel building. Make sure you comment below if you have any questions, and let me know that you actually made it this far, because I know a lot of people drop off, and if you're still watching, I know you're committed to your success when it comes to putting together your sales funnel. So until the next video, hit that like button, subscribe, and as always, keep building the business you love.